You know.
Well, Trump just blew past. He just the one thing that we'll have to say about him is he said, I could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and my people wouldn't give a shit. He actually is an adjudicated rapist on Fifth Avenue. A court of competent jurisdiction, a judge said by any common definition of the word rape, you raped that woman.
This is the dressing room one?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, that may have happened, but I mean...
But a jury in a court said it did.
That fucking means nothing to me, because I know what they know, which is nothing. They know two people said two different things about something that happened in the 90s, and of which there's no witnesses or tape.
Well, you know
so
what?
I can't, look, I hate Donald Trump as much as anybody, but I can't say for sure I just know that. Just because 9 people said they think that, I can't.
First of all,
but yes,
they had more evidence.
They did?
Yes. So she told me this happened.
What was the evidence?
Other people that she told contemporaneous with it.
Well,
which
you know,
whatever. A jury said that, that he
you know
did.
What? You know more about this case than apparently I do, and maybe if I knew everything, I would be completely.
I know that a jury. Yeah. I tend to have more faith in most people. In juries, I think most of them really try to weigh what's there, and I do know that a jury. But now I get too technical here, but by a preponderance of the evidence.
Right.
It's a little bit of a different standard in a criminal case. It's beyond a reasonable doubt.
I'm admitting I didn't know that there was like evidence. I just thought it was he said, she said.
All right, folks, buckle up because things got real when Bill Maher sat down with James Carville. It didn't take long for the gloves to come off. Carville came out swinging, saying that while not every Trump supporter is a racist, every racist seems pretty comfortable under Trump's tent. And you can bet that set off a firestorm. Carville tore into the GOP, arguing it's morphed from the old school, business-first party into a chaotic playground of right-wing populism. His point? Just look at Ron DeSantis and Vivek Ramaswamy, both trying to out-crazy Trump to win over the most extreme corners of the base, but Maher wasn't giving the left a free pass either. He zoomed out and torched the far left for being equally unhinged in their own way, obsessed with ideological purity, cancel culture, and tribal loyalty that, let's be honest, looks a lot like the MAGA movement they claim to despise. And here's where things got real. Both Maher and Carville agreed on one brutal truth. America's political discourse is completely off the rails. Republicans and Democrats aren't just opponents anymore. They see each other as existential threats. Maher even said the GOP treats Democrats like a bigger danger than Russia. This wasn't some polite talk show moment. It was a raw, unfiltered look at how blind party loyalty is crushing common sense, pragmatism, and any hope for real debate. Trust me, you don't want to miss this one. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and let's break it all down together.
There is a genius to his madness, and the thing I always say about Trump, you have to remember, he's stupid and crazy, and they're two completely different things. And this is like the crazy part works for him because he's without a mechanism to edit or to pull back. So, you know, as my friend Jimmy always says, insanity photographs. You can't take your eyes off him. Obviously, whenever they put him on TV, the ratings go through the roof. And that's why insane people are charismatic. You can't look away. So when he does all this, I mean, not just sexual stuff, but certainly the sexual stuff, it's like, I'm going to own. No one else in the world would even think of this as a strategy. And he has no strategy. It's just what he feels. He's all id. But to own that, to own being this kind of guy, and half the country likes it. Or at least it's not a deal breaker because they feel like it's honest.
At least he's honest. He says what he thinks. He doesn't have to. The thing really like is he tells you it's okay if you hate other people. And he validates what that guy says. I like because he says what I think.
Well, he plays on the fact that his people think that your people hate them and look down on them. and see them as deplorables. I mean, I think they take...
You know, there's some truth to that.
Oh, there's a lot of truth to that.
And I'm as good a Democrat
as you
the next person. But you hear this shit, so...
Their latest sit-down wasn't just two guys venting about politics. It was a brutal reality check on how deep the tribalism rabbit hole really goes. Both agreed that civil debate and meaningful disagreement are practically extinct. These days, political identity isn't just about how you vote. It's your entire social credit score. Step 1 inch out of line with your party, and bam, you're canceled, disowned, or worse. Maher, who's built his career calling out extremists on both sides, nailed it. Politics isn't about persuasion anymore. It's about performance. It's moral grandstanding and virtue signaling, a cringe competition to prove who's the purest member of their tribe. On the left, it's rigid ideological purity. On the right, it's chest-thumping nationalism. Different costumes, same toxic energy. Carville wasn't sugarcoating it either. He said Americans care more about passing purity tests than passing good policy. And the media? It's not helping. Outlets have turned into rage factories, keeping people angry instead of informed. The news isn't about clarity anymore. It's about clicks, outrage, and keeping everyone trapped inside their political echo chambers. And the cost? The complete collapse of compromise. These days, finding middle ground makes you look weak. Political opponents aren't just wrong, they're evil. That's where we are, folks. Both Maher and Carville warned that if we keep sprinting down this path, there's no coming back. America will be stuck in an endless loop of division, where winning the argument matters more than fixing the problem. But here's the kicker. They didn't just call out the mess, they challenged us. If we want to save democracy, we've got to break out of our ideological bubbles. We've got to get uncomfortable again to actually listen to people we disagree with. Because if we don't, the divide won't just remain, it'll deepen. This wasn't another political chat. It was a flashing red wake-up call for anyone still paying attention.
To them. And I got rid of the FBI director because there was a lot of pressure on me. Yes, that's your interior monologue. There's a lot of pressure on me because the FBI is looking into me for good reason. You don't. So I invited the Russians in. I mean, it's so beyond it. This is not.
The Russian ambassador showing him top secret shit. He was showing the guy at Bedminster, look at these.
But I mean, he does one a day, or he did when he was president, something that only a nut would do. It's amazing to me that we lived through those 4 years, because when I look back on it, and of course the Trump people say, oh, you have Trump derangement syndrome, and yeah, he blew up the world, right, Bill? You're right, he didn't blow up the world. I still think he could, okay? Is that completely crazy that I think a crazy person could blow up the world? No.
The shit that he did is stunning.
I'm saying, no.
The documents case, if you stop and you think about it, one time...
I could read 1,000 tweets that are just insane that just went by. I remember there was one that said he was mad at China, and he said, I hereby, he's the king, I hereby order all American companies to immediately, work on a plan to change he was ordering them to get out of China. I hereby order. And again, that's just insane that nobody else would even think to do that. But he doesn't think. That's his insanity and his attraction to people.
Let me ask you a question. Okay, history eventually finds out. They find this asshole Pius XII. They found the letter where they told him they were gassing.
The Pope during World War II?
Yeah. All right, we know from history he's been outed, I guess is what you would say.
Right.
Do you think, when all the history is known, would you guess that the Russians have compromise on Trump, or that's just liberal factors?
No, I have always said that the Russian hoax theory is a hoax. Plainly, there was something going on between Russia and Trump. It was not perhaps, first of all,
Carville's a hardened veteran of American politics. He knows the game better than almost anyone alive, and he's not here to sugarcoat it. He laid it out plain. In politics, the enemies you make are just as important as the friends you keep. That's not cynicism. That's the cold, hard truth about how power really moves in Washington. We're living in an era where political loyalty is treated like a moral purity test, but Carville cuts straight through the noise. Politics isn't about feeling good, it's about winning. And to win, you need to know exactly who's with you and, just as importantly, who's coming for you. And here's where things get spicy. Carville's got a major warning for Democrats. Do not underestimate Donald Trump. Sure, he's drowning in scandals, court cases, and chaos, but guess what? Trump is still a beast at the ballot box. He's got a scary good ability to tap into the anger and resentment of voters who feel abandoned by the political elite. Carville's basically shouting from the rooftops, don't make the same mistake twice. Democrats laughed Trump off once before, and look how that turned out. Keep treating him like a joke, and you'll wake up to another political earthquake, but his critique goes deeper than Trump. Carville's calling out a fundamental flaw in the Democratic playbook. Too many Dems are obsessed with being morally right instead of strategically smart. They celebrate every policy win and demographic shift like the game's over, while Trump keeps turning every scandal and attack into rocket fuel. His power doesn't come from policy or logic. It comes from resentment. He weaponizes his enemies, the media, Democrats, even his own party, and transforms that backlash into loyalty from his base. Carville's message couldn't be clearer. Winning is warfare, not a moral purity contest. Trump isn't unbeatable, but if Democrats keep underestimating him, they're setting themselves up for another brutal election night. In today's hyper-partisan world, knowing your enemies is survival 101. Carville's not just giving advice, he's waving a giant red warning flag. Ignore it at your own risk. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more hard-hitting political breakdowns, make sure you smash that like button, drop a comment below, and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to ring that notification bell so you never miss a beat. Your support keeps this community growing. Catch you in the next one. It's going to be wild.